Please introduce yourself.
Sure, I'm Raph Koster, and I am currently the president at Aerie, and we are the makers of Metaplace, which is a new virtual world platform for user-generated content.
Excellent. Raph, what excites you about current metaverse technology?
Current metaverse technology, actually not so much, as what's right around the corner. I think what we're seeing right now is a whole bunch of people working on bringing metaverse technology to the web and bringing the web into virtual world technology. And to me, that's actually the thing that's really interesting right now, rather than current technology. Current technology tends, to my mind, be very much like AOL or Prodigy. It's still very old-fashioned in a lot of its architectures, and it's trying to solve problems by just throwing machines rather than coming up with a new nimble architecture.
Very cool. Yeah, that touches on the next question. What concerns you about current metaverse technology?
Well, the big iron solution, the big development solution, is perfectly viable for a huge amount of problem domains. And so the question to me is, to what degree will we migrate to new technology patterns, given that a lot of the business cases don't necessarily call for it? So if you're making yet another kids MMO, do you really need the coolest new web integrated thing, or is it just enough to, you know, spend lots of money and buy a monolithic walled garden server from somebody and put it up? And I think that's kind of the key question, is to what degree will we break out of established paradigms? The current standard virtual world design, even the Second Life style, user-generated content style world, the designs have not changed that radically since 1978, in the case of UGC World since 1989. So it's not like there's been a lot of inventing new wheels going on.
What will be the most surprising impact of metaverse technology on society within the next decade?
I think probably having it pop up in places that we don't expect. I think crossovers into augmented reality is probably one of the biggest areas that's of interest. I think commonplace uses of it for things like computer-aided design and product design, for shopping, for geotagging kinds of approaches. I think there's a lot of things like that that people don't necessarily think of when they think metaverse or virtual worlds. I think an awful lot of this stuff will come through virtual worlds using an interface of some sort, but the distinction between a virtual world and the real world is going to get much, much, much blurrier. And I think that's actually where a lot of the most exciting kind of surprises are going to come from.
Excellent. What barriers will metaverse technology never overcome?
People have to want to use it. People have to be willing to deal with kind of the identity questions it raises, and that's a human psychology thing, and we're always going to have those. People are going to have to deal with a lot of privacy concerns, and not just privacy on our side, but governmental intrusion and commercial questions and all of those kinds of things. And those are not going to be easily surmounted. Those problems are kind of endemic to the medium, and they're not going to go away easily. I think certainly over the next decade, a lot of those things will be coming to a head in one way or another. And it's not going to be the kind of thing where we can just arrive at an answer any more than we can arrive at a single firm answer worldwide in the real world, because many of them are essentially real world problems transplanted.
Here's a bonus question. Why will Metaplace have a large impact in the years to come?
Oh, hopefully the reason why Metaplace has a large impact is because it allows anybody to make a virtual world and put it anywhere. And really, that's a pretty dramatic shift if you think about it from what's been going on now. So that's my hope, is that, you know, anybody, your average person, you know, these people walking past us, that they'll have a virtual world some point, and that it fulfills some personal need for them. You know, the fact that Metaplace is designed to just work with everything else on the web out of the box, it's not proprietary in that sense, I think that's a really big deal, and the impact of that is subtle and far-reaching. And I think when you couple that with all of the creativity that people have had on the web and bring that into a virtual space, I think that's when things get really, really cool.